Hey everyone, in this video I'll be sharing with you 15 Kindle tips and tricks to make the most out of your Kindle. Tip number 1 is to customize the reading experience. One of the best features of the Kindle is definitely the customizability in terms of formatting. You can change the font size, the margins, the spacing and boldness, and this enables easier reading. To customize the formatting of a book to your liking, at the top menu, press on the AA. And that brings you to a menu with lots of adjustability. Taking a look at the themes, there are a couple of theme presets, which is great for quickly adjusting your Kindle. There is also adjustable fonts with a variety of fonts to allow for easy reading. You can also adjust the boldness and sizing too. Taking a look at the layout section, you can change the orientation of the book, alignment, and the margins and spacing, which is a great feature and allows me to read easier. My next tip and trick is to quickly adjust the text size. Yes, you can adjust the text size of the Kindle by going into the formatting options and pressing a couple of buttons. However, it isn't the most convenient when you just want to quickly change your font size in a pinch. If you quickly want to adjust the text size of the Kindle on the fly, you can just pinch with 2 fingers in and out to change the text size on the Kindle. My next tip is to enable page refresh. You might have noticed on the Kindle that whenever you change pages, you can see a faint imprint of whatever was on the page before, be it an image or some previous text. This can be a bit annoying because it makes the Kindle's display less easy and crisp to read. If it does bother you, you can turn on page refresh in the settings. So you go into the settings, reading options, and then turn on page refresh. Through this, the Kindle refreshes every time you turn the page, and then you no longer see ghosting. The text displayed on the Kindle will appear to be clear and crisp. My next tip is to enable the time left and the clock. If you're like me and get engrossed into a book and just completely lose track of the time, you can enable the time on the Kindle to show the time to the top of your current book. You can enable the time by going into reading options, then you go into the more section of the menu and tap show clock when reading. This shows the clock at the top of a book, which is useful if I'm waiting for something. Another useful feature on the Kindle, which isn't on normal books, is the reading progress bar. This is a useful indicator of how long it will take in the current chapter. And to show the reading time left and the rest of your progress, you simply press to the bottom left of your Kindle screen when you're reading a book, and it will cycle through page, time left in chapter, time left in book, location in book, and hiding it. To the right of the screen will also show the percentage of the book you've read. My next tip is to use the dark mode and the warm light. This is a great feature for the aesthetic or just the comfort of reading at night. Even when the brightness is low on my Kindle, I often find the white background of my Kindle to strain my eyes in bed, and I'm not able to read for as long as I want. On the newer Kindles, you can enable dark mode. You can do this by swiping up to the top menu and then enabling dark mode. And instead of having a white background and white user interface, the user interface and the background of a book is black and doesn't strain my eyes as much, and it's far more comfortable to read with at night. Also, on the new Kindle Paperwhites and the newer Oasis, they come with the adjustable warm light, which also enables more comfortable reading at night, according to your usage. My next tip is the vocabulary builder and the flashcards. One of my favorite aspects to reading is expanding my vocabulary. Firstly, of course you can find definitions of words which you might not know by pressing down on the word when you're reading, and it will show the definition of it. This is convenient as I don't have to search it up later on, but afterwards you might just forget the word altogether. And a great feature on the Kindle which is hidden is the vocabulary builder. To access the vocabulary builder, when you are in a book, press the top section of the display and with 3 dots to go into the vocabulary builder. Here you can see all of the words which you have been learning in a big list, and it can also be categorized based on book. You can also use the flashcards to show the word in context, and you can press to see the definitions, which is a great feature and has enabled me to learn many new words. My next tip is to take screenshots. If there's something that you want to save in a book where a highlight might not do, and you want to take a screenshot of the display, you can press the bottom left corner and the top right corner of the screen at the same time. The screen will flash for a second. To access your screenshots, you can plug your Kindle into your computer and the screenshots show up on your Finder, and you can access them and share them from there. My next tip is to access your notes. If you're like me and love to take lots of notes and highlights of what you read and things that really resonate with you, this tip is very useful. Of course, you can already access your notes on your Kindle through when you're on a book. You can go onto the content and tap on highlights and notes. However, you might want to access your notes on other devices. devices. If you purchase your books through the Amazon store, you can actually access all of your notes and highlights for your phone and other devices, and it syncs through the cloud, which is really useful. However, if you sideload your books, you don't have this cloud functionality, and you have to obtain your notes and highlights through other methods. You can use this free website called clippings.io to store and manage all of your highlights if your Kindle books are sideloaded. You can do this just by simply plugging your Kindle into your computer and then importing the clippings.txt file, and then you can access all of your clippings, which is a great feature and is very useful to look back on. My next tip on the Kindle is the X-ray feature. If you find it hard to keep track of things in books such as characters, plot, and storyline, you can use the X-ray feature to keep track of things on some books which you purchase through the Amazon store. So at the top right of a book, press the 3 dots and then you press on the X-ray button, and there you can see notable clips, people, terms, and images. For notable clips, you can see notable clips in the book. Then people, it shows the different people in the book. Terms has definitions of places and some of the terms in the book, and images shows all of the images within the book. My next tip is the internet browser. A really cool feature on the Kindle is the web browser. Not only can you read on the Kindle, but you can also access the web. On the home screen, press the 3 dots to the top right of the display, and then press browser, and you can browse a basic version of the web. It is not the most capable, and it is very laggy to use. There is often a couple-second delay whenever accessing websites, and the formatting isn't the best. But it is a pretty cool feature and can get the job done if you just want to read something off a website. My next tip is to use collections. If you are an avid reader like me and have lots of books, it can be pretty hard to keep track and manage all of your books on your Kindle. However, you can better organize and store your books on the Kindle through using collections. So you can create collections by pressing the 3 dots to the top right of the Kindle home screen. Then you press New Collection and name it to whatever you want. Then you can select the books that you want to add. Then you can see the collection on your home screen. Another cool tip on the Kindle is the lock screen cover. If you're sick of the Kindle default screensavers and want to customize your Kindle to your liking to make it a bit more like a book, showing the cover, you can enable the lock screen cover. And this shows the current book as the Kindle screensaver. You can do this by opening up the settings on your Kindle, selecting device options, and then selecting show cover. Then whenever your Kindle is off, you'll be greeted with the cover of the book which you're currently reading. My next tip on the Kindle is a password. If you take your Kindle out and about a lot and you don't want anyone to look through your books, or if you have annoying siblings around the house, you might want to use a password. And the way that you do this is by going into the settings, clicking on device option, clicking on device passcode, and turning on device passcode, where you can use your very own password. Whenever you turn on your Kindle, you now have to use your password to access your book. I personally don't use the password as it takes a couple of seconds to put the password in, and it's a bit inconvenient for me. My next tip and trick is Calibre. This is not a Kindle tip and trick per se, but Calibre is a game changer for managing your books. Not only can you obtain your books off the Kindle store, but you can also sideload your very own documents and books onto your Kindle. For example, I like to put my past papers onto the Kindle so I can review them while I'm on the bus or just eating my food. And you can also obtain free books from websites such as Project Gutenberg. To sideload books onto your Kindle, you simply download Calibre and put all of your books onto it, and then you convert the books into AZW3. I normally delete the metadata because it sometimes doesn't show the cover, and then I drag them onto my Kindle on Calibre, and this allows you to have your very own books onto your Kindle. Finally, my last Kindle tip and trick is to turn on airplane mode to save battery life. The battery life on the Kindle is already insane and can last me many weeks at a time. If you want to squeeze some extra battery life out of your Kindle, you can turn on airplane mode. To do this, swipe down from the top of the Kindle screen and press on the airplane icon, and this turns on airplane mode. You can still read all of your books like normal while saving battery life in airplane mode. However, you can't use the store to download new books. If you've reached it this far in the video, I just want to say a massive thank you for watching, and I hope that I provided some value to you today to help use your Kindle better. Thank you for watching, and I'll catch you in the next one. Bye!